Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about my research in JFK assassination and show some facts, but people says it's my imagination. But first, let me explain. This week, I really wasn't going to make no videos this week because I wanted to recuperate from being sick and stuff, and then also have a radio program got to do in the morning. So, I wanted to get everything prepared and stuff for that, but all this week, I've been receiving emails on my AOL account and 3 or 4 people on Facebook and then a couple people on Twitter sitting there telling me that that I'm wrong, and when it comes to my research on JFK assassination, I'm all wrong. The gunman I'm finding is my imagination. No one else sees it. Only I'm the only one that sees them. And the shots, there was not that many shots there. There wasn't no 13 shots. There was somewhere around the range of 4 to 5, maybe even 8 shots the most, but no more than that. And they're basically putting my research down, saying I'm all wrong about everything, and I should stop posting my false information, as they claim. My false information out there, and I should stop making videos and everything else because I'm giving out all wrong information, because all these people is claiming to me that they solved the case. They solved it a couple years ago or 5 years ago. One of them even actually said they solved this case about 15 years ago. And the funniest part about it is when I say this, when it comes to what they're telling me, has been the same old story time and time again. Frank Sturgis was there, either James Files or one thing or another. It's always the same story. Okay, so how they solve anything if ever all these researchers in the past stuff was telling the same story as they're telling me? And I find it funny that they also sit there, because see, what I did was I told every one of them this week. I said, I show what I present as evidence. So instead of telling me the story, you show me the evidence. You show me the evidence. Don't tell me a gunman was in this location or that location or this location, that location. If they was in that location, show me the evidence. Show me a photograph of that gunman in that location. Show me a photograph of that gunman firing from that location, a shot from that location, and everything else. Show me this evidence. A lot of them come and start showing me images, but they're not showing me images of the gunmen in their locations or anything else. They're just showing one image, and they're going to say a bunch of stuff with it, add a big old story to it. That's still no evidence. To me, it's no evidence, but to them, it's evidence. They solved this case. And when they start showing me evidence like, the missed shot to hit the curb. Now, a missed shot to hit the curb. And they said, well, see here, these gunmen, these police officer stuff, found that bullet that hit the curb. And here's the evidence to show that bullet, where it landed at and everything else. And what they do is show my evidence of the gunman, which, the manhole cover shots, which is this image here. One of them showed me this image here. Show me this image here. Well, the bullet struck the curb right here. And the bullet was found up here. No, this is an image that I told them. I put this image together. So I see you using my images to present your case on false information, basically, because they're claiming that the bullet hit the curb right here, the curb, not the manhole cover, the curb, because not one of them told me anything about the manhole cover, because that wasn't even including the shots. That manhole cover wasn't even no shots taken here, because they're saying it's my imagination. But anyway, they said the curb. So you're going to show me this image and quite a few other images of mine from my research they're showing me as well. And I said, well, I find it funny that you don't believe in my research, but you're going to use my images. Okay, well, they're finding these. Some of them told me, well, I found these images all over the net. Well, these images go over the net because people taking parts from my research and claim it as their own. But anyway, I want to make this video to see, is it my imagination that's showing these gunmen stuff? First off, let me pull up this. Let me pull up this map here. They claim the gunman was in all these locations. Dow Tech's building, the 6th floor of Tech School Book Depository, but not over in the Sniper's Nest, way on the other side of Sniper's Nest. or behind the picket fence area, or in the manhole cover right here, or over here on the south side, or underneath the triple overpass, or even on top of the overpass. But I said, show me evidence. Show me the gunman in that location. About 5 of them showed me an image of the badge man. And I said, well, I go into the badge man. Badge man couldn't even take a shot from there because he wouldn't even strike this wall before he would even actually make contact with JFK. Plus, it's been proven that if this was a gunman, by the size of the man and everything else, he would have to stand at least 20 feet back from the picket fence area. Not only 20 feet back, he's got to be on picket fence from the picket fence area, but he also has to stand on a 20-foot ladder to get the proper angle to take that shot. We see supposedly in the Mormon photo. So you see what I'm saying? There's no way that there was a gunman 20 feet back from the picket fence area taking a shot at JFK by standing on top of a step ladder. That's a proven fact, okay? But they want to keep on pushing this issue. But as you see here, they can't show me no photographic evidence or anything else to show these gunmen's location. Now let's see what I show. Okay, I show photographic evidence of a gunman on the second floor of the county records building. However, they said that's my imagination. There is nobody there. I show a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. Again, they said, no, that's just in the film. It's just fragments in the film. It's not that because I'm analyzing it wrong. When I've been analyzing films for way over 25 years now. I've been analyzing films. I restore films. I analyze films. I restore images and everything else. I colorize images and stuff. So they're trying to tell me my job is wrong when it comes to analyzing films or images. But anyway, there's a gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. We can see him coming down, taking shots. I showed this in my videos. We have Oswald on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository in a sniper's nest. We have an image of it. We have the Diller image of it. We also have fingerprints of his there and everything else. And we have the 2 gunmen inside of shelter number 3, which again, they told me it's my imagination. So I'm presenting the locations of gunmen with rifles in their hands, but I actually have more evidence than that. As you see here, this is the gunman inside of shelter number 3. Look at all this photographic evidence. We have the Orville Nix film, shows 2 shots coming from shelter number 3. We have the Zapruder film, shows the impact of where these shots make contact with. We have the Bronson film that was taken and shows the shots coming from shelter number 3. We have the Darnell film, which shows a side view of the shelter. That shows one of the gunmen still aiming his rifles, but both gunmen are there. We have the Betzner image that shows a rifle sticking out of the lower window here of the shelter. We have the Mormon photo showing both gunmen with rifles in their hands. Okay, we even got that view. Okay, plus we also have eyewitness accounts that backs up because Newman said the shots came from directly behind him. What's directly behind him? Shelter number 3. Mr. Zapruder, in his first testimonies, he claimed the assassin was right behind him. What's right behind him? Shelter number 3. And if you look from the overpass stuff, if you look at that distance, I matches other eyewitness accounts where they claim they seen shots coming from the picket fence, but on the other side of the picket fence was shelter number 3, as just by the trees and everything else, and by the location they would think it's coming from the picket fence, but it's actually coming from shelter number 3. Now, let's look at this. We have different people. We have Zapruder, Orville Nix over here when he's filming his film. We have Mary Mormon standing right over here when she took her image. We have Betzner up at here taking his image. We have Bronson over here taking his image. Now you see they're in different locations. We have the Dillard, the Darnell filming. He was staying in this location when he was filming when he was running down. Now, we have all this evidence filmed and photographed from different locations. And every one of these locations shows the shelter showing shots fired from there, gunmen with rifles, and gunmen aiming their rifles from shelter number 3. So it's not one view through one image. We got 4 or 5 images here from films, images, and everything else, all combined into there, plus testimonies from eyewitnesses. But again, these people say it's my imagination. All right, well, let's look at this. This is the Mormon photo. They tell me there is nobody in shelter number 3. Okay, what do we see in shelter number 3? Over here. This is a blow up of it right here. But let's see. There is somebody standing there, and there's a gunman right there holding his rifle, and there's another gunman right here holding his rifle up here. But they said that's my imagination. They're not in the photo. When I have a copy of the original copy, which shows a whole Mormon photo, a whole Polaroid, and it does show both gunmen in there, which I show it in one of my videos, and I'll also show the first hand copy of the FBI, which is this one here that I colorized. We can see both gunmen in there. And people's actually, I have people contact me and says, hey, I went over to the net and I was pulling up these gunmen, and you can see the gunmen in every Mormon photo that they pull out, even from the net. You just zoom in, you can see these gunmen standing there with rifles in their hands. This is all over the net. Okay, so nothing can be added to it because they're already all over the net. The Mormon photo has always been out there. People just didn't bother paying attention to it because everyone wants to sit there and keep on paying attention to that picket fence area. But anyway, they say that's my imagination. Okay, they don't see it. They don't see how can there be two gunmen there. It don't even add up to even the fatal headshot. Don't even add up. Why would they even be there? Because they are. This is the guy right here that took the fatal headshot to JFK. This is the guy that took the shot to Governor Connally. But there's more evidence compiled on that, which I want to show an image that I just got them putting together. If it's in this file, which I hope was in this file, but we can go back and we'll see. Or is it my pictures? Nope, it's not in my pictures. But anyway, I'll go ahead and bring it back to here. Like I pointed out, they telling me that what I'm showing is false information. Oh, here it is right here. Excuse me. As you see here we have the Mormon photo right here. Now, remember, before I even made a claim of these gunmen in this location, I wanted to find evidence. I wanted to make sure these gunmen were there. I wanted to make sure there was shots fired from that location. I want to know where these shots made contact with, before I even brought any of this information about the two gunmen in shelter number 3. As you see, the Mormon photo shows both gunmen with rifles in their hands, as you watch my cursor right here. We have the Orville Nix film. Shows a rifle being fired. We can see the gunman's head right here. I'll even zoom in. See the gunman's head right here. We see the rifle right here, and we see the rifle fire here with sparks coming out from the Orville Nix film. Shows a shot being fired from this window here, if you watch my cursor. We have the Orville Nix film over here. It also shows a shot being fired from the side of shelter from this gunman right here, firing his rifle right here. We see the top of his head, his rifle fired, smoke trail and everything else. Also, we see in another film, Darnell film, we can see the gunman still aiming his rifle from his left side, firing a shot from his left side. This gunman here was firing from his right side. And how we find the man, and then even in Bronson film, as you see here, here's one frame that shows a shot being fired from the shelter. Now, we also could find who this gunman is, because the gunman that took this shot, this was a shot to Governor Connally, was one of the tramps, as I point out, because we could base this on photographic evidences, because of this gunman here, this tramp here, has the same profile as this gunman we see in all these images and films. This gunman, this tramp here, also has a butt plate from a rifle on his left lapel, which we can see him aiming his rifle from his left, firing his rifle from his left. So see, there is a lot of evidence that I found before I even brought any of these claims out. But they're telling me I'm pushing out false information. They're telling me that there is no gunman there. Okay, here's another thing that really bothers me is when I view their stuff. And I view all their stuff, and I went over it in detail. I even looked outside the box, to see if they are right, if Sturgis was there, or this person and that person, But there is no evidence to back any of their information up. All it is just researcher after researcher after researcher after researcher coming up with the same story. Now we're going to sit there and look at something that not even one of them talked about. Was the shots to the manhole cover. Zapruder film shows us a bullet striking this side right here, this right here, as you see my cursor. Frame 399 of Zapruder film shows a bullet striking here, right here. That's this location here, and a piece of concrete flying upward. Then in frame 401, we see another bullet strike, which is a top corner of the manhole cover, and a piece of concrete flying upward. And here's that bullet hole right here in that concrete of that manhole cover. And then frame 402 of this Zapruder film shows us a bullet ricocheting upward right here. This is the bullet ricocheting upward, and it came in the grass where one Secret Service agent was picking him up, where it was found in the grass where it came to rest. They claim this shot's never happened. We could see this in the Zapruder film. Not only can we see it in the Zapruder film, and we have other images to back it up. As you see here, I circled that manhole cover. We have photographic evidence of people taking images of that manhole cover that day of the assassination. We have photographic evidence of a gunman on top of the rooftop of the county records building. There was a bullet casing found in 1975 on a roof by a worker named Morgan. Found a 30.06 bullet casing on the rooftop of the county records building. The bullet that they retrieved that was lying in the grass was a 30.06 bullet. That's evidence as well. The Zapruder film shows us shots being taken there, as you see right here, and other images. Even an image taken that night of that manhole cover was also taken the day of the assassination. All this evidence shows us, and both of these bullet holes line right back up to the rooftop of the county records building. But they claim these shots never happened. And here we see this manhole cover today, that both bullet holes still can be seen today. The bullet hole right here, this is where frame 399, this is where we see it being struck right here, frame 399. Frame 401, we see the bullet striking right here, the top corner, because this is Elm Street right here. Top corner, 401, that's in frame 401, and this one right here was in frame 399 when this bullet struck here. And both bullet holes still can be filled and touched and pried and everything else today. You can prod them and everything else. So you see, they claim this is my imagination, okay? But the photographic evidence is not imagination. It's what we can see. They want to try to lure people away from the truth by putting false information out. Because, you know, I was being polite. I said, well, I can see we're going to disagree. So let's just go ahead and, you know, you keep your research and you believe in what you want to believe. And I believe in what I want to believe in my research. Because what I have in my research is what can be seen. Not what's told in the story is what can be seen, like the gunman's location and everything else. But in their research, all it is a story. They'll show you an image of a person, like they'll show you an image of Frank Sturgis or one of them, or a mugshot of somebody, and say, here you go, here's that assassin was right in this location here. But can you show me they was actually in that location? Can you actually show me that they fired a rifle from there? Can you actually show me that type of rifle they was using? No, they can't. There's no evidence to show. But when you look at my research, I said there was two gunmen inside shelter number 3. I show the Mormon photo. After the Mormon photo, I show the Darnell film frame shows two gunmen in that location. One gunman still aiming his rifle. And the Mormon photo shows both gunmen with rifles in their hands. Then I go on and I show the Orville Nix film, which shows a shot coming from the window right here of the shelter. This is the fatal headshot to JFK. And then I show frame 40 of the Orville Nix film, shows a shot coming from the side of the shelter, as you see right here. Okay, this is just on 2 shots and one location of 2 gunmen. I show this much evidence. I even show close-ups. As you see here, we see the gunman's head. We see the rifle right here. We see the rifle being fired and sparks coming down. But like I said, they claim this is my imagination. When they want to tell you, they want to show you this as their map. They want to show you this and say the gunman was in the Dial Tex building. Why would you place a guy in a Dial Tex building? Especially they're claiming there was on the 4th, 5th floor of the Dial Tex building okay, which is Mr. Zapruder's floor. Mr. Zapruder ran the 4th and 5th floor of the Dow Tex building, but they want to put them gunmen there. Then they want to put a gunman way on the other side of the Texas School Book Depository. They want to eliminate anybody from the county records building. There was nobody there. Okay, there was nobody inside the shelters. There was behind this picket fence area or inside the manhole cover down in here or in this manhole right here or on the overpass or under the underpass or over here on the south side. They're going to tell us that, but as you see here, I got question marks because there's no evidence to show that they was in these locations. Just a story. But when I sit there and say, well, no, I have my gunman right here in these locations. What am I showing for my evidence? I'm showing photographic evidence of gunmen with rifles in their hands in these locations. Also showing firing rifles from them locations. I also show photographic evidence of where these bullets make contact with. And then they're going to go on and carry on and say there was no 13 shots fired. There's only 6, 7, 8 shots or whatever, But they still don't have no time frames. They could tell me a gunman was in this location. They could tell me when JFK was shot or when Governor Connally was shot by this frame or that frame they want to point out. But where's the time frame at? I mean, they can't even come up with a time frame. If they spend so much time doing research in this case, where's their time frames? They don't have none. I got my time frame, so I'm piecing it together, finding the location of the gunman, finding the shot he took, place them shots in order, and know exactly when them shots made contact with, then run the film, stop the film as soon as that bullet makes contact. I have a time frame. That's easy, really. All you gotta do is look at. I'm running this Zapruder film. Say if I'm running this Zapruder film right in front of me, and I know that JFK was shot in frame 224. I'm going to watch it, and then as soon as frame 224 shows up, I'm going to stop it. Then I'm going to look at the counter clock on the bottom, and I'm going to write down that time that's on that counter clock. Then I'm going to push play again. And then I know when the second shot rung out, and say the second shot, frame 229, I'm going to stop right there as soon as that frame hits 229. Okay, now I got second time right there, as you see right here, 7.16 seconds. Second shot, 7.58 seconds by the counter clock that's on the clock of watching the film running. So it's easy to come up with time frame. So they're going to go into detail saying, oh no, the shot came from here, but they can't go in more details of saying, well, let me go ahead and work on a time frame here of when these shots occurred, when they made contact with. Okay, they can't do that because they're just guessing at their research. If you got to guess at your research, then you shouldn't be doing research if you're guessing. Okay, you cannot sit there and take somebody's testimony or somebody's story and say, here's the truth, here's the facts, when it's not even matching what really took place that day. That's why when I had an eyewitness contacted me and I showed him my evidence and I presented my evidence to him first before I even brought any of this information out, I presented it to him and he says to me, that's what we seen that day. That's what we heard that day. We knew there was shots that hit that manhole cover. We knew there was shots. There was people talking about that. There was police officers around here and everything else. We know there was shots in that grass area. Okay, I knew that shot couldn't come from here or come from there. Just like people want to sit there and say eyewitnesses. Okay, eyewitnesses, even this gentleman told me, okay, on the phone. He says, these eyewitnesses claim they seen gunmen here and they seen a gunman there. He says they was all full of it. And I said, why would you say they was full of it? I mean, they was there. He says, think about it. They're there viewing the president. Their eyes are on the president. Their eyes are not all over the location. They're not sitting there, here comes JFK. They're not going to look up on top of the buildings. They're not going to look over by the grass area. They're going to concentrate on JFK because that's what they came there to see, which is true. When you think in logic, everybody was concentrating on seeing JFK or Jackie Kennedy. They're concentrating on that. They're not looking all over the place because they don't know. They didn't. No one there knew there was going to be assassination. The only ones going to knew there was going to be assassination there was the assassins themselves. They was the only ones to know that what was going to take place that day. That's why when I did my investigation, I said someone had to take images of these gunmen. Someone had to take images of shots being fired. with all these cameras at different angles and different locations all around Dealey Plaza. Someone has to have something. And as you see, there was a lot that people had that no one didn't want to bother with and begin with, but I did. People claim this is all my imagination. So like I tell them, you believe what you want to believe. Okay, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to brainwash anybody. If they don't believe my research, that's fine and dandy. I can deal with that. Okay. But problem is, it seems like they can't deal with my research because they're constantly getting nasty or rude with me. Even when I be polite and say, hey, we're not going to agree on nothing here. So you just, believe in your research and I'll believe in my research, or you believe in this person's research or this person's research, that's fine and dandy. But they can't, they want me to stop making my videos. They want me to take my book off of sale because I'm pushing out false information as they claim. Where am my false information at? I'm not giving out nothing that's false. All I'm doing is showing images and films. I'm not putting a story to it. I'm not putting one bit of a story to it. I'm telling you there was a gunman in shelter number 3. There was 2 gunmen in shelter number 3 because this is what the Mormon photo shows us. This is what the Orville Nix film shows us. This is what the Bronson film shows us. This is what the Darnell film shows us. Okay, they're showing us the gunmen, their location, with rifles, aiming rifles, and firing rifles. No story added to it, just the image. And I'm just explaining what the image shows us. So see, everything that I come up with is not the story. Everything I'm coming up is what we can see. So as I, tell them, there ain't no sense in arguing and fighting over it. JFK assassination is nothing to argue over. It's a murder case. It needs to be solved. They can't sit there and say they solved this and solved that, because if it was solved, why is the case still open? I admit I solved the case, but I solved it to my extent to where I already am satisfied in what I found. So to me, the case is closed. All right. I'm satisfied with what I found. The gunmen were there. The gunmen in their locations, the shots were accounted for and everything else. The evidence of the shots were there, and all this evidence is there. It's always been in public's eye for 54 years. So again, even the people that watches my video, if you don't believe my research stuff, that's fine and dandy. Okay, you don't want to own my book or whatever, that's fine and dandy. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to sit here and beg you to buy it or say, hey, you better believe me in it, because I'm not that way. If you don't believe my research, that's fine. Okay, you believe in what you want to believe. That's your opinion. Don't never change your opinion because of somebody else. Okay, you have to be you. And I just want to make this video here to let people know that, research is not all fine and dandy, because you're going to get a lot of grief and you're going to get a lot of heat from it, from people, because especially if you show the truth. If you show the truth, you're breaking into their money. Okay, you're breaking into their book sales. You're breaking into this case to where, or any case that you work on, you're breaking into it. So they don't want you in there unless you're part of that clique. Unless you can come up with the same story as they all want to come up with, then you're all right. But if you're not, then they're going to cast you to side like they done me and everybody else. So don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Share this video and my other videos with your friends, relatives, on social medias and everything else. Let them know this information. Thank you, and you have a pleasant day.